AITA for telling my former stepson the real reason I didn't see him much after the divorce. I was married to my ex-wife for 9 years. I came into my stepson's life when he was 4 and my wife and I divorced when he was 13. It's been 7 years since the divorce. I've since remarried and have 2 kids with my current wife. I raised my stepson, I'll be calling him JT, as my own, and I loved being his father. We were very close and I wanted to adopt him but was constantly blocked by his bio dad, who's a real pos. The divorce between me and my ex-wife was messy. We married too young and looking back, she was a toxic and negative force in my life. I also didn't know it then, but she is also bipolar, which was undiagnosed and untreated when we were together, and it explains a lot of the behavior I witnessed. I wanted to stay in my JT's life since I basically helped raise him, but my ex refused to let me see him and threatened to tell him I'd been a cheater and abuser if I pursued any legal routes for visitation. At the time I was newly laid off and unable to afford a good lawyer. I really regret not fighting harder / calling her bluff, but I was afraid she'd turn him against me or even lie to the police and get me arrested for something I didn't do. JT and I reconnected last year. He's 20 now and living on his own, and in college, for engineering at that. We've been playing catch up and he's met my wife and one of my daughters. I've given him some things for his apartment, etc. He eventually asked me why I didn't stick around after his mom and I split. I told him pretty point blank, your mom made sure I couldn't. I didn't go into detail with the threats, or why we split in the first place, but I let him know she had strong-armed me into being no contact. JT was understandably furious. Obviously I didn't expect his mom to have told him the truth, but I didn't realize how in the dark he'd been. I got a call from my ex, I have the same number as I always have, with her cussing me out for slandering her to her son and talking to him in general. This is the first I've heard from her in 5 years, by the way. She apparently hadn't known JT reached out to me. I told her to never contact me again, and that her son's a grown man and can do as he wishes. I've deleted her number and talked to JT, who confirmed that he confronted his mom and they fought. He's clearly really upset that she lied to him for so long and feels really betrayed by her. I feel terrible and I'm wondering if maybe honesty, or full honesty, wasn't the best policy in this situation. I don't want to cause rifts in a family, even if it's my ex. She and I have a bad history but I know she loves her son. NTA, especially if all you said was that she made sure you couldn't and didn't go into gruesome details. It's the truth and honestly it sounds like he values your relationship. Now he knows you didn't flake, you would have liked to see him then, and now that he can do so on his own you can. He's not some charity case and he's not guilting you into contact now, you wanted to see him all these years. NTA, you didn't talk to him about it as a child, but now that he's an adult, he has every right to know the truth. Rifts in a family happen. You weren't the cause of it, you just brought the truth to light. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know if she's on medication now, but if she is, just explain she was a different person back then, and he shouldn't judge her on the past. Judge her present. If she's a good mother to him, that's what counts between mother and son. Keep being there for him, and keep it honest, just like you are. NTA, poor kid lost his father figure and you have a right to tell him that it's not how you wanted it to go. Seems like his bio parents are pretty trash. Good on you for connecting with him now that he's an adult. NTA for telling him the truth. He needed to know why someone he loves so much vanished from his life. His mom needs to be held accountable for her manipulation. What she did to both of your relationships was cruel. Grandma. AITA for cancelling dinner plans to celebrate with my daughter because my stepson was upset. My daughter, 13, and stepson, 11, have not gotten along since my daughter moved in. She had previously lived with her mother but I got default custody after her mother turned one of her 24-hour disappearing acts into a never coming back one. My daughter and stepson go to the same middle school and were both running for student council VP. There was tension in the house and my wife told my stepson that if he won we could go out to celebrate. My daughter asked if this applied to her as well since he wasn't her only competitor and my wife said of course. The campaign got pretty stressful for the both of them. Then the votes come in and my daughter wins by 4 votes. However, because somehow the one person who ran for treasurer this year dropped out because of grades. My stepson was offered that position. He saw it as a really pie day. I fucked up a consolation prize and was angry that he had to take orders from my daughter. I felt very bad for my stepson, and he and his mother, who is also very type A, was very upset, even though of course my wife congratulated my daughter. My stepson refused to be comforted by the fact that older kids get more easily elected because they know more people, and his mother even offered to take her to her law office and give him some responsibilities, saying that was better experience than student council would ever be. My stepson then said, "Please tell me you're not going to rub it in my face by taking us to dinner now." My wife also looks really reluctant to go to dinner. I finally tell my daughter that we weren't going to dinner because her stepbrother was very upset by the turn of events and we need to take his feelings into consideration, and that I was impolite to gloat. That all happened Friday. My daughter ended up crying, and even now, Sunday night, she still is mad at all of us. AITA? But as are your wife and stepson. Tell me, would you ask them to cancel their dinner if your stepson won? But so your child, the same one abandoned by her mother, gets her celebration cancelled so her father can console his stepson, someone who has a mother to fill that role. Huge $H0. But for teaching your stepson that throwing a tantrum is an appropriate response to this situation. You don't have to include him in the dinner since he's being petulant and would probably make it a terrible experience, but you absolutely should be celebrating your daughter's success as you promised. Don't break promises. Take your daughter to dinner. Don't put your stepson's feelings above your daughter's. Get everyone to therapy and you might make it out of this okay. Otherwise buckle up for at least 5 years of hell. In a decade or so, he'll be one of those entitled, whiny men who asks if he was arsehole for throwing a fit after his girlfriend gets promoted and she dumps him. One of the two kids that lives in your house was going to win and one was going to lose. Did you not foresee there might be some hard feelings? You promised both you'd celebrate whoever won, and now that the kid that lost is pitching a fit, you're rewarding that poor sportsmanship by not celebrating the other kid's win like you promised. Good job reinforcing bad behavior, Dad. Nothing you describe indicates one kid was gloating, just that one kid won and expected you to celebrate that like you promised. This was a great opportunity to work on sportsmanship and how you handle winning and losing. Instead you're rewarding bad behavior and teaching the opposite of what you want your kids to learn. AITA for refusing to teach my boyfriend to do basic household chores. I'm 20F, my boyfriend is 24M. We've been dating for a while, and are thinking about moving in together. Right now he still lives at home. I have my own apartment. The idea would we'd find a bigger apartment together. Here's the problem, in a different conversation he dropped I'd wear a nice shirt out, but I don't know if my mom has done laundry yet. I was surprised, and asked him if his mom always did his laundry. That's how this conversation started. Turns out, his mom does everything. And I do mean everything. He can't cook anything, doesn't know how to clean anything, never had to budget his money. I told him I didn't want to move in with him until he could at least do the basic things. I'm scared of taking on the teacher/mom role in the relationship, and not being able to escape it, if that makes sense. I told him that I enjoy cooking, and if he spends weekends here I'd have no problem teaching him then. But that he needs to learn the basics of cleaning somewhere else, and that maybe we should wait a bit before getting an apartment together. He doesn't like that, at all. He's annoyed that I don't trust him to learn these things, and that I don't want to teach him, so I must not care about him that much. I genuinely like him, but I'm pretty busy. I'd rather spend our time together hanging out, than showing him how to vacuum or do laundry. Plus I just don't enjoy taking on that role. AITA for not wanting to teach him, and wanting to wait to move in until I know he can, and will, do some things. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend doesn't know how to do any chores, wants to move in together so I can show/teach him. I don't. Edit, I suggested he ask his mom. He doesn't want to. He wants to move in together and then we'll figure it out. That scares me. Edit 2, I think I might be an asshole just based on his reaction, and not wanting to help someone seems asshole-ish. Edit 3, going to sleep, won't be replying to comments for a while, but thank you everyone who responded already. It's been helpful. NTA. Laundry is not exactly brain surgery. If he can't read the instructions on the machine, he could always Google it. Vacuums aren't complex either. These are not things an adult needs coaching with. I kind of suspect he wants you to get frustrated and decide it'd be easier to do the cleaning yourself. What? Not under any circumstances teach your BF how to clean. You will 100% hear him say, oh well, you just do it better. Why don't you just do it? Life is too short for that boring ass conversation. Tell him to ask his mom or watch some videos and figure it out, and that you are done talking about this, because it is so boring. Demand proof of competency before moving in together. If he thinks that is too embarrassing, good. He should be embarrassed to be that old and so helpless. NTA. NTA, stand your ground. First you'll be his teacher, then you'll be his mom, because you're just better at laundry / vacuuming / dishes, or I would have done it if you told me. His mom can stop babying him and show him how to do things. He needs to step up, and don't take on the mental load of sending him YouTube videos. He can search just as well as you can. NTA. If you do what he suggests, you will become the trainee girlfriend, the first girl that he lives with, who trains him on how to be a partner so that he's a better partner to his future girlfriends. But not the one he actually ends up with, because his constant ignorance and helplessness will eventually poison your relationship and cause him to resent you for playing the nagging mom, even though he was the one who put you in the troll.
Thank you.